approved congressional redistricting maps to reshape political might in the region, including in the district where the seat is now open following McCormick's resignation. Governor Ron DeSantis emphasizing the Supreme Court ruled District 20 was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander.
We were going to have to redo this because of the racial gerrymandering that was done in southern Florida. And then look at the Florida map that the legislator passed. It's a beautiful, compact map. Very nice map.
But McCormick says she has never shied away from a fight. She stepped down just ahead of a congressional hearing tied to a House Ethics Committee investigation, which found numerous campaign finance and reporting violations, including allegations that McCormick stole millions in federal funds, steering money into her campaign. Sheriff McCormick joined other Democrats at a recent meeting focused on fighting the new redistricting map approved by the Florida legislature and signed by DeSantis. A new poll shows the Democratic Party has more general support than the GOP ahead of the November midterms. The Atlas National poll centered on which political party's candidate respondents would support if the midterms were held today. According to the poll, 54.6% said they would support the Democratic candidate, while 41% indicated they favored the Republican, and 5.3% said they didn't know or would not vote at all. When looking at respondents' concerns, 49% named inflation and 41% named economy and jobs among the greatest challenges facing the U.S. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Taking your medication consistently is one of the best ways to manage chronic illness. Your future self will thank you.
Your health, our community, we're WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Buying custom blinds shouldn't be complicated or stressful. That's why Blindster.com makes it simple and affordable. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Ordering takes minutes. Installation is easy, and they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
This summer, we're taking our streets back with peace. The faith community of St. Sabina is calling on the entire city to stand together for the Summer Peace Takeover, Friday, June 5th at 7 p.m. Join thousands of Chicagoans for a powerful rally and march for peace featuring special guest, Chicago's own Chance the Rapper. Meet us at St. Sabina, 1210 West 78th Place, as communities from across the city come together with one message. Enough is enough. Let's uplift our neighborhoods, empower our youth, and show the nation what unity in Chicago looks like. The first 1,000 people will receive free t-shirts. So bring your family, friends, church groups, and neighbors. This isn't just a march, it's a movement. The Summer Peace Takeover, Friday, June 5th at St. Sabina. Peace starts with us. Chicago, be there.
This is your host and life coach, Linnell Harris, and I want you to join me every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Inspirational Perspective. On Inspirational Perspective, we talk life vision, life purpose, and the show is all about helping you live the best life possible. So join me as we look at supporting you in living the life you intend to live and making your life's vision a reality. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 a.m. WVON.
Get ready for the return of the largest blues festival in the world. The Chicago Blues Festival is heading to Millennium Park, June 4th through the 7th, and WVON will be there. Will you?
Hey, the blues is all right. Hey, the blues is all right.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
All right, happy Wednesday, everybody, on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM WVON. What's happening, everybody in the world of talk radio? WVON, 1690 AM, the only radio station in the country that represents the thoughts and mindsets of Black America, expresses itself in the strongest way possible, unfiltered. Nobody controls. This dialogue tells us what to say or what not to say. You get to say whatever we want to say, and I do it on a regular basis on this show. You get to call in and basically say whatever you want to say, as long as you're not insulting people. I am the only one who can insult people because the Matt McGill Show. So I get that option. If you're watching on Facebook Live, how you doing, brother? Brian House. Brian, do me a favor right now, because we are kind of caught up in some kind of Facebook algorithm that we feel has been muting our speech around the country. And so we're concerned about that because of maybe some of the things that are said on this radio station. I know I'm very hard on Israel. You guys know that. You know, we all often have these conversations about the people that we know who controls Facebook, right? All right, we already know that. But my criticism of Israel, maybe, is it having an impact? I don't know. But do me a favor, because we're trying to figure this out. I want Brian House and Al Hubbard to share the show right now. Just share it right now, because I want to see if we're going to register 2 shares. Because what we feel is going on is that our shares aren't being represented, our views aren't being represented. Because we've gone from having like 30-something shares on each show to now we're in single digits on each show. And we're a little concerned about that. We're trying to find out why, as you guys hear me say all the time on this show, we have to share because Black voices need to be heard. And the thoughts of Black people in Chicago need to be shared around the country for other Black people to hear and see and understand that we're speaking of Black power, ladies and gentlemen. So Brian, do me a favor. Let me know when you shared. Brother Brian House and Al Hubbard, let me know when you've shared. Because we just want to see if our shares are going through, and everybody else that comes on the broadcast today. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Big Al, give me a share, brother, when you get a second. And let's celebrate the power of what we call a free media, right? this free marketplace that we say exists. Yep. Brown House says total of 7 shares. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we are being shared. Yesterday, and I know I'm doing a bad job of asking people to share during the show. So I get so excited during the show, man. I forget to tell people to share because we have so much to talk about every single day, as we should. This stuff is important, man. What we're trying to get out here, there is an attack on Black America. And if we don't recognize that we're living in this moment, we always say that this is another example of Reconstruction. This is what, the third Reconstruction, second Reconstruction, third Reconstruction, whatever number it is, y'all. And it's happening during our lifetime. Thank you, Brother Al, Big Al. Thank you for sharing. There used to be a brother at Hales Franciscan back in the early mid-70s, Big Al Rembrandt. He was the center for the Spartans, the mighty, mighty Spartans. Back in the day, Big Al was in the middle. Clyde Moore, Big Clyde Moore, Brother Clyde Moore for the Spartans back in the day. Man, those were some legendary Hales Franciscan teams in the 70s. And Hales had a great reputation on that basketball court and in the classroom as well. And developing and grooming young Black men onto perfect manhood was their motto. And it was something that a lot of those brothers took a lot of pride in, man. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to education. You know what? A couple of things got my attention today. Our brother Dion Cole, comedian from Chicago that's out in Cali now, posted on his page a list of the top 50 Black comedians of all time. And I thought it was interesting because it was tremendously flawed, as any list is, right? Anytime somebody tries to do a best of list, it's going to wind up being criticized just on the strength of people have been omitted from this list, guys, right? So, and I said to people that were criticizing the list, I was like, y'all know Dion is doing this on purpose because he knows his Chicago people are going to criticize this list because there's some BS. It wasn't his list. He was just putting it out there and promoting the fact to go see the Michael Jackson movie, which I have not seen yet. And so I'm embarrassed to say that I have not seen it yet. Maybe I'll talk Mia into doing it this evening. When Mia comes home, she goes right to sleep, man. So it's almost like no getting her to do anything once she comes home, unless it's to go out to eat. And then maybe, depending on how she feels, she'll do that. I'm thinking about going to White Sox game maybe this evening. I'm going to step outside and see what the weather feels like and determine if I'm going to do that. But when I return, I'm going to read some of the names off of this top 50 greatest Black comedians of all time. And I'm going to see what you guys think. And I'm going to there are 2 names that are not on this list. And I'm going to ask you guys if that surprises you. All right. All right. Let's see. We got Parker on the board, or maybe it's Titus. I don't know, because I'm at home, as you guys can see on Facebook Live, doing the show from this little room here. I don't know what I call this room, but it overlooks Prairie Avenue, the great Prairie Avenue on the south side of Chicago. But of course, Annette Flournoy with news up until 1 o'clock, and then Logan after that. Brother Augustus Corbett coming on, our great attorney who shares his thoughts and wisdom with us. The Defiant Lawyers Network, that'll be at 12:30. Mike Fidelli at 2:30, and we may have some stuff in between. It's the Matt McGill Show. Get up on it, everybody.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hi, I'm Lori Smith, host of Meeting the Moment. WVON, in partnership with the Chicago Community Trust, developed Meeting the Moment to amplify the voices of nonprofits across Chicagoland, giving them the communication tools they need to expand their reach and turn awareness into action. Right now, our communities are facing real challenges, from economic uncertainty to public safety to access and equity. But in the middle of it all, there are organizations doing the work. quietly, faithfully, powerfully. With Meeting the Moment, we'll have honest conversations about the issues shaping our region and, more importantly, the solutions happening on the ground. And each week, we'll feature a Chicagoland nonprofit making a difference. You'll hear their story and find out how you can support their work. Because Meeting the Moment is about more than just awareness. It's about impact. Join the Meeting the Moment movement, a program designed for the doers. For more information, visit WVON.com/Meeting the Moment. Listen every Saturday at 12 noon, right here on WVON 1690, The Talk of Chicago. Let's meet the moment together. Powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
Smart conversations with smart people makes us smarter. And that's exactly what you get on Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams. This isn't surface level talk. This is where authors become experts, where books become blueprints, and where ideas are challenged, not just discussed. From Colin Woodard on Nations Apart, to Gloria J. Brown Marshall breaking down the history of protests in America, to Gary Tyler sharing a story of resilience and redemption and stitching freedom. These are not interviews. These are conversations that matter, because every book has a story and every story has a deeper meaning. Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams on Bond TV. You can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, and VON.TV.
Having healthy kidneys is just as important as having a healthy heart. You need both to live. Too many of us are dying from kidney failure caused by high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease. Kidney care matters. So every day, drink more water, avoid smoking, alcohol, and social drugs. Also limit over-the-counter pain medications and take your prescribed medicines on time. This Health and Wellness Black Care message brought to you by the South Suburban Chicago chapter of the Links Incorporated and powered by Vantiv.
Chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can make me feel like a spectator in my own life.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine preventive treatment.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, inviting you to join me weekdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on WVON. I am bringing you a national perspective on all the happenings in the Black community and, of course, politics. It's talk radio for us, by us, and this is where America listens.
It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back. I'm sorry. God, dog it. I've got 2 mute buttons, and one of them really is the main mute button. Now I probably got us knocked off of Facebook. From now on, you know what? Our bumper music. I'm gonna change this because I'm tired of this Facebook BS, man. I really am. And all of the associations or whoever are upset that we play bumper music and then bump us off of Facebook. I'm gonna come up with something. I'm gonna just play local music that local artists have made that's not even published. So no more of the oldies and all that stuff. I'm gonna figure this out. Because if these guys can't see, what I'm doing is promoting their music and getting you guys to remember old songs that you forgot about. And then you go online and buy that song. If they don't realize that I am advertising their product for free, then F them. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, man. F them. Damn, boy. I mean, this really pisses me the hell off that I got to worry about how long a song plays, or else we're going to get bumped off of Facebook when I'm advertising your damn product for free. This is your music that people have forgotten about. I'm playing old songs. People are listening to these old songs. Oh, yeah, and then they're going on iTunes and buying it. Then they're going on these other platforms and buying your damn music. You ungrateful son of a bitches. All right. Now let's get back to, or you greedy capitalist freaking pigs. That's all it is. You're both ungrateful son of a bitches and greedy capitalist freaking pigs. Y'all wait till I podcast so I can just curse people out and tell them how I really feel. Do they knock you off of YouTube, Mike Burry said? I don't know. That's a good question, Mike. So here is by Complex. I don't know what Complex is, but they're top 50 greatest black comedians of all time, and it's a terribly flawed list, y'all. But I'll read it to you guys and get some feedback from you guys. I'm not going to read all 50 names, but I'll give you I'll read the top 10 to you. How about that? Eddie Murphy, number 1. Kevin Hart, number 2. All right, I already know. Don't hold your comments. Kevin Hart, number 2. Richard Pryor, number 3. Martin Lawrence, number 4. Dave Chappelle, number 5. Chris Rock, number 6. Bernie Mac, number 7. Cat Williams, number 8. Cedric the Entertainer, number 9. Red Fox, number 10. So obviously we have a problem with Kevin Hart being above Richard Pryor. I know. I might even make it, and I'm not an anti-Kevin Hart guy, man, because Kevin Hart is getting it in. But I am going to suggest to you that maybe Kevin Hart is not in the top 10. Okay, but that's okay. Some of you may have him in your top 10. I don't. That's just the way it is, right? Here's what I would say to you. Richard Pryor should probably be number 1. I don't have a problem with Eddie Murphy being number 1, though. All right. But I would say Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, 1, 2, whatever order you want to put them in. I don't know that I've got Martin Lawrence in my top 10 either, guys. I don't know that I got Chris Rock in my top 10. I definitely have Bernie Mac in the top 10. Cat Williams, Cedric the Entertainer. I don't know. Let me tell you who's missing. They've got T.I. on this list. They've got Drewski on this list. They were smart enough to have Dick Gregory on this list, thank God. But they've got some names on here that would raise a few eyebrows, if I may say so myself. Who's not on this list, believe it or not, the number 50th person, I read the top 10 and I'll read the bottom 10. J. Anthony Brown, 40. Kevin Fredericks, 41. Donnell Rawlins, 42. Godfrey, 43. Michael Blackston, 44. Jess Hilarious, 45. Kim Whitley, 46. Red Grant, 47. T.I., 48. Tony Rock, 49. And Faison Love, 50. Guess who's not? I would put Bernie Mac up higher than what do they have? Bernie at 7. I think I'd put Bernie in the top 5 for sure. I would have Bernie over Kevin Hart, Martin Lawrence, maybe even Dave Chappelle, but definitely I would have Bernie over Chris Rock and Cat Williams. So he's over Cat Williams. So that's that. Guess who's not on this list, y'all? And I think it is blasphemy and a miscarriage. There you go, Lee Williams. Bill Cosby is not on this list at all. Bill Cosby is not on this list at all among the top 50. Lee says, or Robin is on it. Robin Harris is who you're talking about, Lee. Robin Harris is on the list. He is, I believe, at least in the top 20. I think I did see Robin. Yeah, Robin, they got Robin Harris at 15. Bill Cosby, ladies and gentlemen, is not on this list at all. Are you freaking kidding me? Guess what? I was trying to think of, like, old school comedians that, of course, a new list is going to omit. I'm going to tell you another name that should be on this list way before a lot of these cats. And you guys might not remember this comedian, this brother. You guys remember Godfrey Cambridge? Do you guys remember Godfrey Cambridge? Nipsey Russell is not on the list. Mantan's not on the list. Nope. And I can understand maybe Nipsey, maybe Mantan, maybe, but Bill Cosby not being on this list. What about, do you guys remember Godfrey Cambridge? Google Godfrey Cambridge, and you guys will remember him not only from his hilarious stand-up. He was more of a 60s comedian, I would say. But in the 70s, guys, we had Godfrey Cambridge. He was in a lot of movies, blaxploitation films, and a lot more. All right, 591-1690. Let's take a break here. When we come back, attorney Augustus Corbett from the Defiant Lawyers Network will join us on the Matt McGill Show.
Hazy and mild, some might even say cool, as temperatures top out near 60. I'm in Illinois, and here's what's happening. Several Chicago aldermen are questioning why Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration is taking so long to replace ShotSpotter. Perry Williams has more.
23rd Ward Alderwoman Silvana Tabares says the city's not moving fast enough in the vetting of 9 companies with bids.
A man was shot and killed in my ward on Thanksgiving night in Garfield Ridge neighborhood. His body laid in the street for 10 minutes because no one called 911.
Mayor Johnson says he wants to make sure that they're thorough in the vetting process to make sure the technology they do select is extremely effective in addressing violent crime in the city. I'm Perry Williams.
The Chicago Public Schools' financial woes have worsened. They're now facing a $732 million budget deficit. This comes at a time when there's lower enrollment, and according to reports, to fix teaching positions may end up on the chopping block. Later today, the City Board of Education is set to call on state lawmakers for help. The school board must approve a balanced spending plan by August 29th. Well, a prom stunt in South Suburban Markham is causing some controversy. Quintina Brown, who is the chief of the local park district there, paid for a helicopter to land for her daughter to be a backdrop for a prom photo.
And she was graduating, and this was going to be a memorable experience. I just wanted to be able to provide that for her. I didn't think that it was going to blow up as much as it did.
Authorities did shut down the May 8th event, calling it a safety hazard. Police did hand out 2 tickets to Brown and the chopper pilot. The village of Markham is also considering additional legal actions. Well, apparently 8% of people on electronic monitoring in Cook County are AWOL. That's according to a new report from the state's attorney's office. According to the report, more than 3,000 people are in the program, with nearly 250 accused offenders with pending criminal cases not in compliance. This report comes after several violent incidents involving defendants on electronic monitoring, such as Alfonso Talley, a convicted felon with 4 pending cases, and now accused of ditching his electronic monitor and shooting and killing Chicago police officer John Bartholomew and critically wounding his partner at Swedish Hospital last month. Now that those so-called predatory payday loan companies are virtually a thing of the past, according to the Woodstock report, folks are much better off. In an exclusive WVON interview with Rufus Williams this morning, Karen Freeman Wilson, president and CEO of the Chicago Urban League, says Illinois residents have actually saved more than $1 billion under new lending guidelines.
Prior to the payday lenders leaving, they were borrowing folks were borrowing $1 billion and paying exorbitant interest rates up to 400%. Now they're borrowing $1.4 billion, but the interest rate is capped at 36%. That's good news. That's a win. That's more money in people's pockets.
She also talked about the impact of recent cuts to the SNAP supplemental food program, calling the cuts a war on poor people.
Is poor, working class, anyone who needs assistance. And it comes as a result of something that they had the audacity to call the big, beautiful bill. And so, it is a problem. It is something that we have to continuously fight against.
The state of Illinois estimates about 120,000 people could lose their benefits. Well, State Representative LaShawn Ford came out of a field of 13 Democratic candidates to win the 7th Congressional District in the March primary. Now, in an exclusive interview earlier this morning, he reflects on his successful win and tells WVON's Rufus Williams that the biggest factor was, of course, the endorsement from his mentor, U.S. Congressman Danny K. Davis.
So we really align well with doing work for the people. And so I was blessed to be able to have such I would say a legend in the United States Congress and to endorse me.
Representative Ford says he's focused on issues affecting Illinois residents, such as the new federal SNAP benefits requirements and cuts, as well as the upcoming general election in November. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. WVON News Time, 12:35.
WVON's Health Awareness Month, sponsored in part by OSF Complete Care 55+.
Ready to fire up your taste buds, Chicago? Black-owned Kodo Hibachi serves fresh, authentic hibachi and sushi, served with a smile. Grab takeout, order delivery, or dine in casual style. No flaming show, just flavor that steals the spotlight. And hey, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Visit them at 258 West 31st Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8, Friday and Saturday till 9. Sundays till 7. And don't forget, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Kodo Hibachi, where flavor meets culture.
Pull up to the flagship location at 258 West 31st Street and stay tuned. The Kodo family is growing. New location coming soon.
Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON. Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter.
We're up to way over 400 million here. Yeah, giving money back. How about that? People in Bellwood got 10 million, Broadview 6 million, Burnham 3 million, South Holland 17 million. The city of Chicago's up to $190 million that we have given back to African Americans. Who does that? Nobody does that but WVON.
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter, Monday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Today at 3 p.m., don't miss a special edition of The Afternoon Show with Atiba and me, LaDonna Ray. We're joined by the legendary Stephanie Mills, the Grammy Award-winning icon behind timeless hits like Never Knew Love Like This Before, Home, and I Feel Good All Over. Will be with us live. Tune in at 3 p.m. today on WVON 1690 AM, streaming on iHeartRadio, and be sure to share it on Facebook Live. Only on the Talk of Chicago, WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back at 591-1690 on this Wednesday, everybody. Of course, you know, I like to have Brother Augustus Corbett on the show. Attorney with the Defiant Lawyers Network that you can find on social media, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, TikTok maybe. Are you on TikTok, brother?
TikTok as well.
I know, right? Gotta be on TikTok, man. He's a respected legal mind, and of course, his insight on what's happening to Black America reverberates all over those social media platforms I just mentioned. And that's why I like having him on the show to kind of share his thoughts on the state of America, the state of Black America, where Black people are, where we're going, what we need to be thinking about as we experience this live reconstruction again that's happening to Black America, brother. And it's happening real time while we are, I said this before. I don't know if I said this with you, but I said, as Black Americans, we've always wondered what it was like to be Black during the 50s or the 40s, to be a grown person and to have like that blatant Jim Crow racism, or, what was it like to be in slavery, right? We can't imagine that, right? The history books tells us what our ancestors went through, and all we can do is imagine what was it like to be dehumanized and treated as property and second-class citizens, right? But right now, we're living in it. We're living in a moment right now, attorney, that people 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now are going to be looking back at this period and saying, damn, what was going on? What happened? What was it like to be Black in that moment? Well, guess what? We are Black in this moment, and it's happening real time. What are your thoughts? What have you been observing since the last time that we've talked to you, and what should we be thinking about, my brother?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mr. McGill, for having me again. It is always a pleasure to be on the air with you. Thank you also for the work that you all are doing. The work that WVON does in the Chicago area and across the nation and the world through your social media accounts is it's more urgent now than ever, especially when a lot of the media companies are aligned with MAGA and so on. Your voice is so very important. And, when we have these conversations, there's so much. I mean, you're letting me speak, but you put out so much great information yourself that it's just great to be here with you. And things are, you talk about what it's like, we don't know what our ancestors went through, but I'm 64 years old and I'm from the South, from North Carolina, rural part of North Carolina. I remember having to go to I went to a segregated elementary school. I remember having to go to the side doors to go to the doctor's offices, or the back doors to go to the restaurants. I remember that dehumanizing treatment and reality that we had. And I think it's part of the reason I'm so driven, right? So passionate about these issues today. So when the Voting Rights Act was struck down, for weeks, and as a matter of fact, you can go back when Donald Trump was reelected, quite frankly, it was just devastating for me a second time. And now the Voting Rights Act struck down, essentially. It has just been it's been a very difficult year, almost year and a half at this point for me. Again, given my background, given what I know, I sat in those constitutional law, civil rights classes in law school 20 years ago, and to see this happen, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Now what I'm seeing is, and I got to say this before we go further with your permission, which is I've been talking to my audience about Section 2 for about a year or so, year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this coming.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Justice Thomas has been on a binge about getting rid of Section 2 now for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've read it in his opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was going after this. I did TikTok, I did Instagram, hashtag save Section 2, over and over and over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and got very little response.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's gone, the Black community is coming out of the woodworks, which is great, which is awesome. But we got to stop positioning ourselves to only react to this stuff and be proactive.
Yeah.
So let me just say that first.
Well, we're in a moment where we need to be proactive. There's no question about it. And we need to have that foresight that you're talking about. And like you said, I heard our sister Sherlyn Eiffel the other day. I don't know if you heard the interview. I think she did it with Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, where she was talking about the what did she say? She said in 78, it was a case, Mobile
versus Bolden. Yes.
And she talked about how the Supreme Court came in and changed, was it like the litmus test for discrimination, what we're seeing going on now with these gerrymandered congressional districts? That Supreme Court ruling, did it kind of impact what the Civil Rights Act had already said would be the litmus test? I think one of those cases, if it was Mobile or another case, she said basically the Supreme Court was saying you have to prove that the intention was racism, right? That it has to be more blatant, you know, which now raised the bar. And she said, I guess Congress came back and may have changed it back, but she said the lead litigator trying to convince Congress not to change it was Justice Roberts, our Chief Justice of the Supreme Court right now. He was a young attorney at the time making the argument what he has finally accomplished today.
That is right. So, yeah, there are cases that led up to this. First, White versus Register. And it was a case that essentially said all a Section 2 plaintiff had to prove was effect, not intent. That if it disproportionately affected the Black community, then that's it. Case one. And that case stood for 4 or 5 years. And then the Mobile versus Bolden case came and changed all that and made it an intent test. So now you got to prove intent, which is virtually, I do these cases, it is virtually impossible to prove intent unless you got a, smoking gun or something, so to speak. And so, yes, Congress came back in 82 and basically changed the Bolden case and made Section 2 an effect test again. And then there were several other cases that followed Bolden. There was Thornburg versus Gingles, and then Allen versus Milligan out of Alabama. And then we get to the Louisiana cases. And it was in, of course, now as we know, the Calais case from Louisiana that changed everything back to intent. And it did a lot more than just made it an intent test. It also changed what we call Gingles factors and really just made it very, very, very hard to prove, to show that it is racial intent because of the way they changed those Gingle factors. I could go into that.
I think here's the overall message, right? A racist is not necessarily, especially a racist that is a politician who is gerrymandering, who is trying to oppress Black power, Black voters, Black voting rights. You're not going to have a racist governor, a state representative, majority leader, House leader, whatever. They're not going to come out and tell you they're a racist and they're doing this for racial reasons. Exactly. So that is the only way that it's going to reach that litmus test that now the Supreme Court, so that's not going to happen. And to your point, it's impossible to prove, right? You have to prove the impact, right? Intent is one thing, and the impact is what people hope that they can testify to and say, this is the end result of this public policy, right? And so we are in this moment right now, and you see how quickly all of these states have reacted to the decision. Let's take a break right now at 12:48, and let's talk about that, what we see going on in Tennessee, Alabama, Of course, Florida was probably the first one out the gate, and Governor DeSantis, and what there was a ruling by the Supreme Court in Virginia that was a setback. Also, I guess the Democrats trying to respond. So much for us to discuss. Attorney Augustus Corbett is our guest. The Defiant Lawyers Network. You can find them on social media. More conversation when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
With your help, the Illinois Lottery generated $784 million for education last year. Play all your favorite Illinois Lottery games today to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 or older to play. Game odds are available at IllinoisLottery.com.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way, a ComEd facility assessment. Their engineer gave my company free insights and actions that saved us $732,000 on energy. Easy, right?
Learn how ComEd can help you save at ComEd.com/facility assessment. ComEd, powering lives. Savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
Attention shoppers, after 65 years, Sid's Clothing and Hats is hanging up their hats, and you're invited to the retirement sale of a lifetime. Now through May 30th, everything in the store is on massive discount. That's every hat, every cap, and every accessory. It's our biggest sale ever, with prices you have to see to believe. Visit Sid's today at 609 West Roosevelt Road. While hats last and stock is moving fast, you'll find styles you love at prices you'll adore. Hurry in, retirement sale ends May 30th. Sid's Clothing and Hats, where style meets savings. One last time.
Social connection plays a major role in healthy aging. Stay connected with family, friends, faith communities, and activities you enjoy. And that's your Healthy Reminder.
This Healthy Reminder is sponsored in part by the South Suburban Chicago, Illinois chapter of The Links, Incorporated, and Vantive.
Hey Chicago, it's Sir Henry Cheatham, your Magnolia Blues man. The Chicago Blues Fest is back, and WVON is bringing the soul of the city with it. Join your favorite WVON personalities June 5th through the 7th at Millennium Park for this event. Friday night, we're celebrating 55 years of Alligator Records with tribute to Coco Taylor, Lonnie Brooks, Hound Dog Taylor, and Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Saturday, we're bringing 75 years of Chicago blues to the main stage, featuring Chicago's own Billy Branch, Kenny Neal, and Ronnie Baker Brooks. And we'll close out the weekend on Sunday with the legendary Taj Mahal and the Phantom Blues Band, a special tribute to women in blues featuring Lynn Jordan and the Shivers, Melody Angel, and Deetra Farr. And keep listening for a chance to win an exclusive VIP Blues Fest experience. For more information, visit WVON.com/events. Brought to you by Mayor Brandon Johnson and DKs.
Chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can make me feel like a spectator in my own life.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine preventive treatment.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back, guys, on the Wednesday show. You guys know I love to have our brother Augustus Corbett on the Defiant Lawyers Network. It's out of Dallas, Texas. Of course, Counselor, Texas is always a hotbed of political fire there when we think about MAGA when we think about a red state, a big red state. But you guys got a lot of blue movement in there, and possibilities exist in that state. We've talked about that before with if all the black people come out and vote, all the brown people come out and vote, Texas could register very differently on election days. And that has to happen. People have to come together and vote, and the power vote. You and I have talked about that before. That's the only way to win. What we see going on right now, the gains that we have accomplished in this country as black people have mainly came from us fighting for the right to vote and having an impact on our nation's capital and on our state houses around the country. We cannot forfeit that right to vote, that privilege. We can't take it for granted. The way, I always say, the way things get chopped up in this country, in the halls of Congress and state houses and city halls all around this country. And we have to be present and have presence there. Black representation matters. It matters, right? Now, that doesn't mean that every black face is a face that is for us, but we need representations. We know the right black people that we're voting for and the people we need to put into position. Attorney Corbett and I just talking about the impact of these last couple of weeks, brother. But Counselor, you were talking about just, since Donald Trump has taken office, man, we could just put a whiteboard up right now and just list the things that this man has done that has targeted black America. Even when they target the Democratic Party, what we're seeing with these remapping of congressional districts, of course, their goal is to go after the Democratic Party and try to win this midterm election and gerrymander these districts, but they are going after black districts in particular, right? They are targeting black people, our right to vote, because when we did get the right to vote, it made a difference. It made a difference. Sister Sherlyn Ifill was on, I think she said something on the Daily Show the other day about prior to the Voting Rights Act, we had 72, she said, 72 black elected officials in the entire country prior to the Voting Rights Act. And then when we move forward, Brother Corbett, to 1980 and when the Supreme Court made its decision to try to impact it, we were up to 1,500. And so the laws have an impact. Changing public policy, the Constitution, these amendments had an impact. The Voting Rights Act had a direct impact. We can point to, we can look at that number, 72 to 1,500 elected officials. Who knows if we went members of Congress and mayors around the country, and to have that impacted the way that it has been by this Supreme Court should be concerning to us, my brother, right?
That's right. When we look at the Voting Rights Act, Section 5 was what protected us from voter suppression. Notorious states that did all of this voter suppression stuff had to get pre-clearance from the Department of Justice. And so they got rid of that in 2013 from the Shelby County versus Holder case. That was a big, big blow. And then Section 2, this case. And it's a whole lot more damaging than most people realize. And you speak of Sherlyn Ifill, Sherlyn, and Janae Nelson, I think, took her place. Those sisters are brilliant. In fact, Janae Nelson argued the Calais case in front of the Supreme Court this past couple of months ago. So we really shout them out. But let me take a moment and try to explain what we're up against here. This case is awful. There are two types of gerrymandering: partisan gerrymandering and racial gerrymandering. And what this case did was, in addition to reestablishing the intent test, it also affected those Gingle factors that I mentioned earlier from the Thornburg versus Gingles case. Before the Calais case, all a Section 2 plaintiff had to prove was Gingle factor number one, that the proposed black district that they are trying to get is large, that it's compact, that it's contiguous. And if they could prove that, then they have proven all three of the Gingles factors, and they probably would win. And that happened in Louisiana. That's how they got that second district. And once again, the Legal Defense Fund was involved all up in that case. All right, so what Calais does is says, yes, you got to prove intent, but the first Gingles factor, the first thing you have to do is you got to submit a illustrative map that shows you should have another district, but you also must, in your map, you must comply with all of the political goals of the GOP. And whatever those goals are, if they are trying to protect incumbents, if they're trying to turn the state red, you got to show all of that in your illustrative map.
All right, hold that thought, Counselor, because we got to take a break. I spent too much time talking. When we come back on the other side of 1 o'clock, we're going to continue talking about these Gingle factors and why we should be paying attention to it, and more about being black and living in America on the Matt McGill Show.
Yes.
Chicago, I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Chicago Urban League sounds alarm on food aid cuts and consumer lending. American Airlines flight gets 2 flat tires after landing at O'Hare Airport. Possible U.S. hantavirus case not linked to cruise ship. And Russia launches massive drone attack on Ukraine. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
BIN News Now. Authorities have identified the teen killed at a post-prom party in Northwest Indiana. Black 17-year-old Javon Townsend of Michigan City was shot and later died at a hospital. His grandmother spoke to the press.
It hurts, but when it knocks at your door, it's a feeling that you just can't fathom.
Police are offering a $5,000 reward for tips leading to an arrest. Maryland's Black Governor Wes Moore signed nearly 250 bills into law at the State House. Key measures include the Utility Relief Act to lower energy costs. He also approved Mason's Law to upgrade dangerous storm drains. And C.J. Wallace, son of Biggie Smalls, has scored a legal win in a defamation case tied to false allegations by a former collaborator. A judge granted Wallace a default judgment after producer Jonathan Hay failed to respond to a lawsuit. Wallace accused Hay of spreading damaging claims involving him and Sean Diddy Combs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Here's more with Terry McCready.
Australia says it's joining France and the UK's mission to help secure the Strait of Hormuz.
They trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle.
President Trump commenting just days ago about the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. Australia's defense minister said the continent is joining a strictly defensive mission that's currently in place to secure shipping through the strait. Australia's announcement comes after Trump suspended Project Freedom, where the U.S. Navy was escorting ships through the strait. Trump has been critical of NATO allies for not helping to open the vital waterway. Florida's Black former Representative Sheila Sherfless McCormick says she's planning a re-election bid as her legal troubles are mounting ahead of a criminal trial. The announcement comes as South Florida Democrats are pushing back against newly approved congressional redistricting maps to reshape political might in the region, including in the district where the seat is now open following McCormick's resignation. Governor Ron DeSantis emphasizing the Supreme Court ruled District 20 was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander.
We were going to have to redo this because of the racial gerrymandering that was done in southern Florida. And then look at the Florida map that the legislator passed. It's a beautiful, compact map. Very nice map.
But McCormick says she has never shied away from a fight. She stepped down just ahead of a congressional hearing tied to a House Ethics Committee investigation, which found numerous campaign finance and reporting violations, including allegations that McCormick stole millions in federal funds, steering money into her campaign. Sheriff McCormick joined other Democrats at a recent meeting focused on fighting the new redistricting map approved by the Florida legislature and signed by DeSantis. A new poll shows the Democratic Party has more general support than the GOP ahead of the November midterms. The Atlas National poll centered on which political party's candidate respondents would support if the midterms were held today. According to the poll, 54.6% said they would support the Democratic candidate, while 41% indicated they favored the Republican, and 5.3% said they didn't know or would not vote at all. When looking at respondents' concerns, 49% named inflation and 41% named economy and jobs among the greatest challenges facing the U.S. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Black women are more likely to experience fibroids. Don't ignore heavy bleeding or severe pain. Listen to your body.
Your health, our community, for WVON.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
It's Gospel with Pam Morris Walton, your gospel sister, on WVON Sundays, 11 to 2 p.m. Music to help you on your journey. I'll see you there. WVON.
Hey, baby! I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, The Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church. Tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
Today at 3 p.m., don't miss us. And me, LaDonna Ray, we're joined by the legendary Stephanie Mills, the Grammy Award-winning icon behind timeless hits like Never Knew Love Like This Before, Home, and I Feel Good All Over, will be with us live. Tune in at 3 p.m. today on WVON 1690 AM, streaming on iHeartRadio, and be sure to share it on Facebook Live. Only on the Talk of Chicago, WVON.
WVON is proud to be an official radio partner for the Chicago Blues Festival, June 4th through the 7th at Millennium Park. We're bringing generations together, one blues riff at a time.
We gon' pitch a wine dang through the low night long.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to, WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
So I gotta get up early in the morning. Find love. So I gotta get up early in the morning. Find love. Gotta get early in the morning.
All right, we're back. 591-1690, number to call. I guess I'll open up phone lines if you guys have a question. You want to call in, our brother Augustus Corbett, the Defiant Lawyers Network. You find it on Facebook and all the social media platforms where he's giving this kind of information and insight to everyone who follows. I encourage you to follow his page and get. How often are you posting content, brother?
Daily.
Is that right?
Daily, yeah. On YouTube, we're putting up stuff. I would say daily. Sometimes it's not daily because I'm, practicing law too. But pretty much daily, primarily on YouTube, but also Instagram, TikTok, Substack.
What's it like being in Texas, man? Down in Dallas, and obviously Texas is a red state. Is Dallas a blue dot in this red state?
Yes, it is. We have many black elected officials. I think the sheriff is still black here. The DA is a young black woman, newly elected. Many judges. The mayor, well, he was a black Democrat. He just changed to the Republican Party. So yeah, this is pretty blue here.
Mm-hmm.
But you
no, go ahead.
No, you get right outside of Dallas, then it gets really red, really red.
I didn't realize how big a market the Dallas-Fort Worth area is, right? So Dallas is, in terms of market share, it's number 4, I think, behind Chicago.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
And what is that? Is that just Dallas plus Fort Worth and the other surrounding suburban areas?
Yeah, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which consists of Dallas, Fort Worth. Then you go southern Dallas, you get into Duncanville, Cedar Hill. It's really, really black down that area. And you go up north, northern Dallas County, then you start getting into a lot more, of the white population and business corporations and all of that up there. So it gets very wealthy going up that way and very sort of poor going in southern Dallas.
What's the read on your Senate race there with Tallarico? I know there's been a lot of fallout, with him winning that primary there, the Democratic primary there, and our sister in Houston, Crockett. What him moving forward, though? Is there any chance that Democrats will pick up a Senate seat in Texas, or is it still a long shot?
It's still a long shot.
Yeah, but
it can be done. But yes, it is a long shot. If we can get more blacks out, let me give this information. For example, 34.4 million total eligible black voters in this country. All right. 24 million are registered to vote. All right. 15.5 million blacks voted out of that 34.4 million in 2024. Registered but didn't vote about 9 million voters. So that means
that's the election.
That's the election.
That's the election, brother.
That's it. As a matter of fact, in Michigan, 80 Vice President Harris needed about 230,000. There was 80,000 she could have gotten in Michigan, 120 in Pennsylvania, 30,000 or so in Wisconsin, which all of those states had that many black voters we left on the table. We're doing this to ourselves in many regards.
Well, let me ask you this, because of some of the fallout from the primary, the Democratic primary there for the Senate seat there between Crockett and Tallarico. Because I hear one of the first reactions from some of the disappointed black community in Texas was, we're not coming out to support them.
Yes.
And that's just, we can't be that bitter and we have to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And understand what the impact of a Democrat winning a Senate seat in Texas, just the signal and the message that would send around, that would reverberate around this country. Yeah. In a very big way. And have those wounds been healed, or are there still some challenges that exist there?
Definitely challenges that exist. And You know, Jasmine did very well in the Black community. Tallarico did very well with white progressives in the Latino community. And the division, especially between Blacks and Latinos, it's there. It was there in the 2024 election. And of course, Trump and his allies and supporters, they love to dig into that division.
Exploit that. Absolutely. Sandra is on with us at 591-1690. She's got a question for you, Attorney Corbett. Sandra, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
More
Sandra.
from McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690.
Sandra. All right, I thought we had a call for you there, brother.
Can you
All
hear
right.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There you go.
Okay, great. Here's my question because I need clarification. As a result of this horrible ruling by the Supreme Court, have Black people across America lost the right to vote or lost their right to vote in a voting block? And as a result, for Black elected officials, and as a result, are we now or will we now become swing voters?
Want me to speak on that?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a wonderful question. Okay. And I'm so glad, Sandra, you asked that question. And the answer to that very first question is no, we have not lost the right to vote. We definitely can vote. The problem is because Section 5 was gutted in 2013, there are a lot more, about 100 or so different voter suppression laws across the country, which hinder our right to vote. And hanging over our heads is the Save America Act, which could make it even more difficult to vote. And then even if we show up in large numbers, if we don't do something about this horrible ruling, our votes will be diluted. And yes, you're right, because they're able to now racial gerrymander their states, electing people or voting for people of our choice will become much, much more difficult unless I always like to leave everybody with some hope. Unless in the midterms this year, we tap into those voters we just talked about, these eligible Blacks, and get them to the polls so that we can, before all this racial gerrymandering occurs, they're trying to do it as fast as they can, and the Supreme Court is allowing them to do it. But if we can get the vote out in November before they have had the opportunity to do it widespread, then hopefully we can take the House. Hopefully we can take the Senate. We need 60 senators. All of this is a Hail Mary pass. I get it. But if we go out and really, really, really vote, then we can try to slow down, even stop the effect of this case and even turn it back. Earlier, we talked about how Congress stepped in 1982 and overturned basically the Bolden case.
Sure.
And we went back to an effects test. Congress can do that again.
Could do it again.
But we got to vote and get the right people in office. So yes, we can still vote. In fact, we must vote.
Quick follow-up. But what if you're in a district where your representative, who is Black, is, the district has been, gerrymandered? Who are you showing up to vote for?
Well,
if you're like Al Green, for example, in Texas, I believe, is no longer, and Jasmine Crockett and others across the South have lost their districts or will lose their districts very quickly. Who do voters show up to vote for?
Well, if they have racially gerrymandered Blacks out and have put in Republican candidates, then of course it's going to be Republicans, which is why I'm saying before they're able to get all of that done, the midterm is going to be very, 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 very important.
Well, but also though, sister, I think what they're doing in Texas, I think they eliminated one district, but I think they were combining Crockett and Al Green. So they got rid of one of them. So in that case, somebody, well, go ahead, Kirby. You would still vote for the Democratic candidate, which would be Al Green, if that's the question you're answering.
What happened here in the DFW area, for example, yes, they did change the map, and the map affected Jasmine Crockett's district as well as Mark Vesey, Representative Mark Vesey. And it really affected his district. It affected hers as well. However, Reverend Dr. Haynes, Freddie Haynes, is running to replace her.
Right.
Okay. So we will still have him in her place.
Right.
And now down in Houston, where Al Green is down there, I think somebody is basically replacing him, running against him.
Oh, is that okay? But I mean, nevertheless, though, sister, there'll always be a Democratic candidate in the primary for you to vote for. You see what I'm saying? So don't.
Yeah.
Right. So they'll always, no matter if they gerrymander the district, there's still going to be a primary, right? And so you will have an opportunity to choose between a Democratic candidate and a Republican candidate. That Democratic candidate might not be black. Right. It might not be black, but you will have an opportunity to vote for a Democrat or a Republican in that case. Counselor, hold on. Let's take this final break talking to Attorney Augustus Corbett from the Defiant Lawyers Network on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
That cannabis charge from years ago, it could still be costing you jobs, housing, and opportunities you don't even know you're missing. But there's a way out. New Leaf, Illinois is a free state-funded program helping people clear old cannabis and other eligible records. You've already paid the price. Don't let your old record cost you even more. Call 872-NEW-LEAF or visit newleafillinois.org today. New Leaf, Illinois, it's your fresh start.
When your body needs real nourishment, don't settle for ordinary supplements. At the Aloe Shop, we believe wellness starts with nature. That's why our premium aloe and nutritional products are crafted with the highest standards, pure, potent, and made to support your health from the inside out. From digestion and energy to immune support, the Aloe Shop helps you feel your best every day. The Aloe Shop at 117 East 95th Street in Chicago. Call 866-256-3747 or reach us online at thealoeshop.com. Come on in and get healthy. Now available at Living Fresh Market in Forest Park and at Pete's Market throughout Chicagoland.
Chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can make me feel like a spectator in my own life.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine preventive treatment.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Living in the hood is not a curse, it's an opportunity. It's your block, your opportunity, and our movement. Join me, Dr. Roe Davis, every Saturday on WVON 1690 from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. as I help renters become homeowners and homeowners become investors. That's every Saturday on WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
We're back. Brother Augustus Corbett, our guest at 591-1690. Just talking about a little bit of everything, of course. Brother, before I let you go, what's on your mind? What else would you like to share with our listeners as we embark on another week of stuff we need to be watching down in Tennessee, where they've taken all of the Democrats off of their committees as punishment? And you talk about being blatant and bold. The speaker there even said it. This is punishment for you guys creating, wreaking havoc down there. The outright audacity and how Republicans have been emboldened by this president, whether it's regarding just being bullies or regarding race, is something that we all should be concerned about. Voting districts in Tennessee and Alabama, mentioned Florida. I'm sure more to come. Virginia got slapped on the hand by their Supreme Court there. What the Democrats were trying to do there is basically what everybody else is, what the red states have been doing in there. Supreme Court told them not too fast. So as we look at the future this week and next week, what should we be thinking about, my brother?
We should be thinking about getting out those who are not registered, getting out to register to vote. Because as I was saying, in a few months, we will have our midterm elections. If we show up and do what I call impact voting, then we can get some people in place, hopefully, to stop this or to slow it down substantially. If we're not able to do that during the midterms, then that gives them just more time to take this push across all these southern states and other red states. So voting is so essential. And, you know, there's this debate about, well, the Democrats aren't doing this and the Democrats have taken our votes for granted. Now we don't have the time for that. Okay, we don't have time for that debate.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got to go with the party that for the last 70 years have stood with us, and the party actually that gave us the Voting Rights Act. So we gotta vote heavily Democrat at this moment, because the other party is taking things from us. The Voting Rights Act. They took from us Section 5, and so on. I could go. Voting. And because the Save America Act is sort of hanging over our head, and it very well may get passed, the more pressure Trump puts on Republican senators, especially, then that too could impact our voting. So go ahead and do this, folks. If you don't have a passport, go ahead and get one. If you don't have a birth certificate, go ahead and get one months out before the election, so that if that law's passed, you're not.
That's what I was getting at. I want you to tell, on that same line, why you're telling people to do that. Explain to them the Save America Act.
Yes, the Save America Act essentially will require that folks show citizenship. Okay, essentially. And in order to show citizenship, pursuant to that bill, one would have to show, one would need a birth certificate, certified birth certificate, or one would need a passport. Okay, so you got to get one of those. Now, you may live in a state where your real ID would be suffice, but that's only, I think, about 7 or 8 states. So the safest thing to do right now is get your birth certificate, get your passport, and if you recently got married, ladies, and changed your name, this is especially important for you. All right. Because the Brennan Center estimates that as many as 20 million people will be impacted by the Save America Act, trying to prove citizenship, because many people simply don't have those documents. So take the time now. We still got months before November rolls around to get those documents.
Yeah. So that is paramount, because what the Trump administration is banking on is that black people won't do that, brother. That's what they're banking on. They're banking on that you are not going to get proper identification You're not going to get proper citizenship proof. That's what they're banking on, guys.
That's right.
They think and I say this all the time, they think black people have become predictable to the white powers that want to reverse our progress. They think they know us.
That's right.
They think they know if we do this, guys, they're going to do this.
Exactly.
They're not going to do this.
Exactly.
They think we are, and we've given them that predictability. We've given them that right to think that we're going to be predictable. Let me tell you this, brother. What happened here in Chicago with bringing the migrants up here, what Governor Abbott did, predictable, right? I'm going to send these migrants up to Chicago and create hell for their mayor. And it happened.
It happened.
And it happened. And it's black Chicago that's mad at a black mayor. And that's how you take away black power. We got a black mayor that speaks to black power more than any black politician probably in this country, Attorney Corbett. I am not unapologetically, this brother does, to the point where a lot of us are like, hey, man, slow down a little bit. Slow down. Oh, man. Brother, let them know again how they can.
I've seen it, Mr. McGill. I've seen some black Chicagoans all up in his face, saying all sorts of things to Mayor Johnson. And I love the guy. I absolutely love him.
Thank you.
Have made several videos supporting him.
Thank you.
And I know he's a committed Christian. He's a good guy. It was our governor who put him in that situation.
Brother, I'm going to connect you with him so you can bring him on the Defiant Lawyers Network with you, brother.
I would love to have him.
All right, let's do it. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Find the Defiant Lawyers Network and check out our brother, Augustus Corbett. And if you're in the Dallas area, Corbett & Corbett Law Firm, check him out. Civil rights attorney, personal injury, all of your needs. Him and his amazing daughter are there with years of experience and expertise to make sure that your legal rights are being protected. My brother, I love you, and thanks for coming on again. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Love you too, Mr. McGill. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your voice and this opportunity. Thank you.
When we return, Tennessee House Minority Leader Karen Camper is going to join us, and she's going to tell us about everything that's going on down in that state house. But first, Logan has WVON News coming your way right now.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's happening in your local and national news. Karen Freeman Wilson, president and CEO of the Chicago Urban League, speaks out about impact of cuts to the federal food assistance program, as well as a current Woodstock report that addresses the state of consumer lending. WVON's Annette Flournoy has more.
Now that those so-called predatory payday loan companies are virtually a thing of the past, according to the Woodstock program, folks are much better off. In an exclusive WVON interview with Rufus Williams, Urban League President Karen Freeman Wilson says Illinois residents have actually saved more than $1 billion under new lending guidelines.
Prior to the payday lenders leaving, folks were borrowing $1 billion and paying exorbitant interest rates up to 400%. Now they're borrowing $1.4 billion, but the interest rate is capped at 36%. That's a win. That's more money in people's pockets.
She also talked about the impact of recent cuts to the SNAP supplemental food program, calling the cuts a war on poor people.
Is poor, working class, anyone who needs assistance. And it comes as a result of something that they had the audacity to call the big, beautiful bill.
The state of Illinois estimates that about 120,000 people could lose their benefits. And at Illinois, our news now, 1690 WVON.
In other news, no one is hurt after a plane flight from Miami got two flat tires after landing at O'Hare Airport in Chicago. The FAA says American Airlines Flight 791 landed safely last night after a tire issue while taxiing to the gate. Passengers were deplaned on the taxiway and were bused to the terminal. The plane was taken out of service to be inspected by a maintenance team. The FAA is investigating. In other news, Illinois health officials are investigating a possible hantavirus case in Winnebago County that is not connected to the recent cruise ship outbreak. Officials say the resident likely contracted the virus while cleaning a home with rodent droppings and is recovering from mild symptoms. The CDC is conducting additional testing with results expected within 10 days. Health officials say the suspected North American strain does not spread from person to person and stress the risk to the public remains very low. And Russia launched a major drone attack against Ukraine just days after a temporary ceasefire ended. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says more than 800 drones were used in an effort to overwhelm the country's air defenses. Zelensky claims Moscow timed the strikes to coincide with President Trump's visit to China. Experts say the large daytime assault could signal a shift in Russia's drone warfare strategy. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
In June, Chicago will make history. It's the opening of the Obama Presidential Center. It's our center, our story, in our city. We're WVON.
It's DL Hughley.
Nick Cannon's logic is as weak as his Everybody fucking knew that Republicans freed the slaves. Everybody knew it. The last time he did something for black people was 163 years ago. You got to update your resume. Have a 5-year gap on your resume and see if it's valid. When Republicans did that, Hawaii wasn't a state. If you're going to talk about the greatest of a policy that helped black people out, it should at least be sometime after the fucking moon landing.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Illinois politicians did it again. They secretly tucked bad policy into the budget. Now, guess who pays the price? Servers, drivers, stylists, workers who depend on tips. Unless Springfield fixes this mistake, your credit and debit cards may not work to pay sales tax or tips, starting July 1st. Tell Springfield, stop the credit card chaos law. Learn more at guardyourcard.com/Illinois, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Ready to fire up your taste buds, Chicago? Black-owned Kodo Hibachi serves fresh, authentic hibachi and sushi, served with a smile. Grab takeout, order delivery, or dine in casual style. No flaming show, just flavor that steals the spotlight. And hey, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Visit them at 258 West 31st Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8, Friday and Saturday till 9. Sundays till 7. And don't forget, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Kodo Hibachi, where flavor meets culture.
Pull up to the flagship location at 258 West 31st Street and stay tuned. The Kodo family is growing. New location coming soon.
Hey, Chicago, it's Matt McGill. We had so much fun last year. We're heading back to the Chicago Blues Festival as their official radio partner June 5th through the 7th in Millennium Park. But guess what? On Thursday, June 4th, we're going to kick things off. That's me and my buddy Sir Henry Cheatham. We're going to the iconic Ramova Theater, 3618 South Austin, and we're bringing on stage one of Chicago's favorites, the one, the only, Willie Clayton. And Chicago's own, the legendary John Primer.
Well, I'm rolling and tumbling, talking all out of my head.
You want to join us? Then reserve your free seats now at RemovaChicago.com. That's RemovaChicago.com. Then keep it right here to WVON for your chance to win VIP tickets to the Remova and to hear more about this year's lineup. I'll see you there Thursday, June 4th at the Remova Theater to kick off the 2026 Chicago Blues Festival, brought to you by Mayor Brandon Johnson and DCASE, the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events.
Hey, it's Cleopatra Draper. Join me for the Midday Show weekdays at 9 a.m. where we'll sip and spill all the tea. Do you want it hot or cold? Either way, we're serving up the flavor of the day. Weekdays at 9 a.m. right here on the station giving you what's now and what's next. 1690 WVON.
This is your host and life coach, Linnell Harris, and I want you to join me every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Inspirational Perspective. On Inspirational Perspective, we talk life vision, life purpose, and the show is all about helping you live the best life possible. So join me as we look at supporting you in living the life you intend to live and making your life's vision a reality. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 a.m. WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back at 591-1690 down in Tennessee in the State House. There's a lot of fighting going on over voting rights, redistricting, everything that our country has been fighting for over the years. Thank God we have Black representatives, Black representation down there that is not backing down, that is standing up, being bold, getting in the face of the governor and the speaker down there, Governor Lee, Speaker Sexton, and who else ever wants to try to take and turn back the hands of time in the spirit of MAGA. One of those leaders is our guest right now, State Representative Karen D. Camper, who is the minority leader there in the House. Sister, it's good to have you back on the show. Everything I see in the news about what's going on down there in the State House, I'm going to be honest with you, is concerning. And at the same time, to see representation like you and your colleagues standing up and saying, not on my watch, makes me proud, sister. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your continued coverage of this, because I think it's important that not only us here in the South know what's going on, but the world needs to know what's going on. And Chicago is the center of the world. So there's a lot of people listening. There's a lot of people who, listen to your station. So I think it's important that they hear and understand what's happening, what's going on down here in Tennessee. So thank you, sir.
Give us the latest. I understand that committee assignments have been stripped away, and I don't know if it was the speaker, the governor, or whoever said this was punishment. It just amazes me that they're that blatant to do this and to put it in words.
Yeah, it's the speaker. They're being petty, upset over the fact that we didn't sit down and allow them to just bulldoze over us with all this crazy racist policies that they're presenting. And so because we rose up, because we stood up, because we spoke out, it's just retaliation. And this is what happens when you have this kind of power, where you feel like you have the power to do what you want to do. And this is the reason the president has been allowed to do the crazy stuff that he does. No one is putting him in check. And I challenge the speaker. You have an opportunity, really, to be the first one in the country, Tennessee, to say, we're not going with this craziness. We're going to push back against the governor. We're going to push back against the president. But he didn't do it. So now, he's calling himself punishing us by taking us off of our committees. But, it is what it is. Members are still going to fight. We're still going to speak out, which is why I responded with the letter that I did.
Tell me about the letter.
Well, I responded, telling him basically, we understand, you want to retaliate against us and you want to take us off our committees, but let's be real about what's real. The reality is you've been exposed for what you're doing. You've been exposed with the numbers of how it is a racist attack on Black people in Tennessee and not a pure, partisan decision. They're trying to say, oh, we did this cause of partisanship. But the numbers show you something different. The numbers show that it was an attack on President Obama. The numbers shows that it was an attack on Brown v. Board of Education. The numbers shows that it was an attack on our first black congressman elected to Congress in the history of Tennessee. So he's just pissed because he was exposed, and I told him like it was in the letter and just challenged him, really, do better because you can.
Is there any hope, though, that white Republicans in the state of Tennessee are going to do better and try to do anything that's going to benefit black people, and even in this case, the Democratic Party, because they know that black people vote 90+% for the Democratic Party? I mean, I almost feel like there's no hope that's going to happen in Tennessee. And I have to say this. I did not realize that Tennessee was so white. I did not realize the population. I think I heard somewhere that Tennessee is only like, what, 15% black? Is something like that? Right. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, it is right. Yeah, about between 15 and 16, depending on, when you take the numbers. But yeah.
Yeah, so Tennessee's all. Tennessee's white.
It is, but here is the thing. The power is in Memphis, the black area. The power is in Nashville. You see, the power is in the places where they cannot get elected.
Mm-hmm.
See, they can't get elected down here in the county seats and the mayor, in the last election, the last two strongholds they had was the juvenile court judge and the district attorney's office. We swept last time, and we got those positions too. So they have no political power. So when they don't have political power, they come after your power. They don't like the fact that black people are leading, that black people are in an area where most of the revenue that come in this state comes from Memphis.
Sure.
So we are subsidizing the rest of the, rural counties.
I would imagine Nashville too, though, right? Because Nashville probably gets a lot of tourism.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned them. That's where the power is, but that's where it's democratically elected.
Mm-hmm. So let me
really
stay. Let me ask you this: is Nashville considered? I know Memphis is probably considered a blue dot, right? A blue city, right?
Yeah.
What is Nashville considered? Blue or red?
It is too. It's blue.
Is it really?
They've been attacking them too. Oh yeah. See, in the last redistricting, which we filed a lawsuit. In the last redistricting, they did the exact same thing to Nashville. They cracked it in the middle and split it into three because they have no political power.
Okay.
They did that because the president called and said, I need one more seat.
Okay.
And they acquiesced. But that's where the blue power is. In Nashville, which brings most of the revenue into this state, Memphis still brings more than Nashville, believe it or not. But they're the number two. Then you have Knoxville and Chattanooga and eventually Montgomery County that's bringing in most of the money. But if you look at where the money comes from, it's Memphis and Nashville, and it's blue. They've taken over our airports this year because they don't want our democratically elected mayors appointing people to the boards. So they took over that. They took over our school district to put some type of crazy management board of Republicans to run it.
Hold that thought. I'm going to take a break here. We're talking to State Rep Karen Camper. She's the House Minority Leader in Tennessee, which is ablaze right now. The politics and the politicking and the remapping, redistricting, and all of the tension that you've seen on television is real. This sister is right in the middle of it, and other black representatives right in the middle. In fact, they're sticking their heads right in the middle of it to make sure that this governor, the Speaker of the House down there, understand that black power exists in the state of Tennessee. And so when I tell you black representation matters, it matters when you have people like Sister Camper representing black people. Hold on. We're going to take a quick break and we'll return with our esteemed guest right after this.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Smart conversations with smart people makes us smarter. And that's exactly what you get on Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams. This isn't surface level talk. This is where authors become experts, where books become blueprints, and where ideas are challenged, not just discussed. From Colin Woodard on Nations Apart, to Gloria J. Brown Marshall breaking down the history of protests in America, to Gary Tyler sharing a story of resilience and redemption and stitching freedom. These are not interviews. These are conversations that matter, because every book has a story and every story has a deeper meaning. Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams on Bond TV. You can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, and VON.TV.
This is Rufus Williams, and I've got something special for you. I am proud to announce that we're launching the Rufus Williams Travel Club in conjunction with Advantage International. Our first trip, we're staying in the United States and heading to one of the most stunning destinations for culture to cuisine. Join us October 8th through 12th as we explore the charm, the beauty, and the history of Charleston, South Carolina. This isn't your typical getaway. We're walking through history and standing where our stories began. From the roots of Gullah Geechee culture to the International African American Museum, from cobblestone streets to waterfront views. This is more than a trip. It's a cultural vibe. To find out more, visit WVON.com and click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner. And keep listening for more details. The Rufus Williams Travel Club will turn curiosity into understanding, one destination at a time. We are WVON.
Chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can make me feel like a spectator in my own life.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine preventive treatment.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray.
Congressman Jonathan Jackson on the line.
I saw a meme that said America will come and get you. When it's about the oil, they bombed in Iran, they've got oil. They bombed in Iraq, they've got oil. They bombed in Libya, they've got oil. And now they bombed in Venezuela, they've got oil. And they even came after Diddy because he had oil.
Come on, Congressman. That was a great setup. That was good. That was good.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church, tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back, guys. Around the country, we are seeing Republican-led state houses lead the charge to take away your voting privileges, your representation. We see it in Florida, see it in Tennessee, where our sister Karen Camper is, Alabama, you name it, it's happening. It's going to keep happening. The Supreme Court decision a couple of weeks ago, of course, paved the way for a lot of this action and activity that we are seeing. What does it mean? We're living in a moment, guys. Ever since this president has taken office, we're living in another reconstruction that's trying to take black people backwards. Representation matters. Black representation matters. Black power matters. Information matters. We're living in an information age right now, guys. We got information at our fingertips everywhere we go. There's no reason for us to be uninformed and inactive. In fact, just the opposite. We need to be more informed and more active than ever in the history of Black America. Right now, it's going on. All you got to do is look at what's going on in Tennessee in the State House. They're protesting. They're raising their voices, bullhorns, and everything else. This is the modern day version of Dr. King, Andrew Young, everybody else. The Edmund Pettus Bridge. This is the modern day version of it happening right now in the Tennessee State House. And we got to support it. And we got to raise our voices. We got to be loud. We've got the information. We got the bodies. We got to be active. We got to support our brothers and sisters down there. Karen Camper's the minority leader. And when I say minority, I mean minority, because we're talking about Tennessee. Sorry about getting excited there, my sister, but
I get the passion. I appreciate the passion.
But this is a moment.
This stuff is real. For real. This is real. It is a real critical moment for us in this country right now, because the attack, and like I said, it follows along the states that were affected by Brown v. Board of Education. All those southern states, when we got, when we overturned the separate but equal crap, that's the target, which, is the Confederate States.
Donald Trump wants to go down in history as being this dude, as being the president that brought everything back around, where the South is going to say, hey, look, we got it back. We just needed the right president to get it going. And they got him. They got him. And we got to be the ones that say, no, not that easy, partner.
But our ancestors showed us in their fight that regardless of what it is you're trying to do, it's not going to happen. We will continue to fight. They continue to march on. They made it possible, even though they knew they would never see it, for me to be where I am right now. And you think I'm not going to fight? When they fought for me for something they knew they would never see.
Okay.
So I got to do the same for my grandkids and their grandkids, man. This is serious. And we can't be silent about it.
How many Black state reps do you have?
I think it's 19. Yeah, we lost a couple during redistricting last time. They put members in districts together and all of that kind of craziness. But yeah.
And talk about you talked about Nashville, what they did in Nashville. And basically the state just decided what they were just going to take control, huh?
Yeah, because they have no political power. So Nashville is a blue area. Mayor is Democrat. They can't get elected to any positions of power. And of course, with the mayor, this is what a lot of people also don't often think about when you're electing your mayor, that it's not just the fact that the person is the mayor. The mayor has the power of appointment. So if you become mayor, then you have the power to appoint like-minded individuals, let's say.
Right.
People that believe in your philosophy, people that believe where we're going. Because they don't have that power, they don't get to appoint to none of the boards. They don't get to appoint. I mean, it's like 600 plus board appointments. If you think about the Board of Water and the Board of all of these boards.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the mayor that's making all of these appointments. They have no political power. So what they do is they change the law. So we're going to take over it. So they took over all the municipal airports, Memphis included, Davidson County in Nashville included. They attacked our DA, trying to strip him of his elected power. He was elected to serve, but they don't like how he's serving and leading. So they create all this because they can't get elected in these areas.
Guys, this is happening real time in 2026. Sister Camper, this is the same thing that happened in Louisiana with our brother that got elected to a criminal clerk in Orleans Parish there, Calvin Duncan. They didn't like the fact that he won, so what they do, they changed. They voted him out. Eliminated that job.
They
Same thing.
eliminated, yeah. Same thing, yeah.
My sister.
They can't win on their own merits now. They got to cheat their way.
Where are you? You're in Memphis?
I'm in Memphis right now, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm from Memphis, so yeah.
And that's your district you represent.
Yes. You mentioned earlier, what do you think about the rest of the Republicans in the state and this, that, and the other? I think they have an opportunity themselves to stand up for what they know is right. Now, it's on them. It's their conscience. It's with them and God. But they have a chance to do it. Now, the other thing about Tennessee is it's also what people will call conservative, right? When I got in the General Assembly, Democrats was in the majority. Most of them conservative, but they still exist. So we got to get them conservative Democrats off the bench and back in the game. Them independents back in the game. They have got to turn out like never before. I mean, beat Obama first numbers in order to make changes here. Even if we don't elect those three, we may be able to flip some seats in the House to get us to break this constitutional majority that they have. That's where we can start making some real change.
Okay. All right.
So I'm not allowing them to own conservatorship because they don't. I'm more conservative than most of them from a black woman's perspective.
Well, look,
we've had conservative all our life.
we're going to talk to you next week so you can update us on what's happening. Sister Karen Camper, House Minority Leader. I love you, my sister, and keep on fighting. All right, too, Black Power.
I'll do it. Black Power.
All right. Let's take a break here at 2:00. We'll come back and grab some phone calls at 591-1690. You're listening to the Matt McGill Show.
Happy Wednesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. CPS facing $732 million budget shortfall. Former Chicago mayor candidate Paul Vallis faces campaign finance fine. First openly gay player Jason Collins dead. And Vance updates White House crackdown on fraud. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
VIN News Now. Authorities have identified the teen killed at a post-prom party in northwest Indiana. Black 17-year-old Javon Townsend of Michigan City was shot and later died at a hospital. His grandmother spoke to the press.
It hurts, but when it knocks at your door, it's a feeling that you just can't fathom.
Police are offering a $5,000 reward for tips leading to an arrest. Maryland's Black Governor Wes Moore signed nearly 250 bills into law at the State House. Key measures include the Utility Relief Act to lower energy costs. He also approved Mason's Law to upgrade dangerous storm drains. And C.J. Wallace, son of Biggie Smalls, has scored a legal win in a defamation case tied to false allegations by a former collaborator. A judge granted Wallace a default judgment after producer Jonathan Hay failed to respond to a lawsuit. Wallace accused Hay of spreading damaging claims involving him and Sean Diddy Combs. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Here's more with Terry McCready.
Australia says it's joining France and the UK's mission to help secure the Strait of Hormuz.
They trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle.
President Trump commenting just days ago about the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. Australia's defense minister said the continent is joining a strictly defensive mission that's currently in place to secure shipping through the strait. Australia's announcement comes after Trump suspended Project Freedom, where the U.S. Navy was escorting ships through the strait. Trump has been critical of NATO allies for not helping to open the vital waterway. Florida's Black former Representative Sheila Sherfullis McCormick says she's planning a re-election bid as her legal troubles are mounting ahead of a criminal trial. The announcement comes as South Florida Democrats are pushing back against newly approved congressional redistricting maps to reshape political might in the region, including in the district where the seat is now open following McCormick's resignation. Governor Ron DeSantis emphasizing the Supreme Court ruled District 20 was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander.
We were going to have to redo this because of the racial gerrymandering that was done in southern Florida. And then look at the Florida map that the legislature passed. It's a beautiful, compact map. Very nice map.
But McCormick says she has never shied away from a fight. She stepped down just ahead of a congressional hearing tied to a House Ethics Committee investigation, which found numerous campaign finance and reporting violations, including allegations that McCormick stole millions in federal funds, steering money into her campaign. Sherfullis McCormick joined other Democrats at a recent meeting focused on fighting the new redistricting map approved by the Florida legislature and signed by DeSantis. A new poll shows the Democratic Party has more general support than the GOP ahead of the November midterms. The Atlas National poll centered on which political party's candidate respondents would support if the midterms were held today. According to the poll, 54.6% said they would support the Democratic candidate, while 41% indicated they favored the Republican, and 5.3% said they didn't know or would not vote at all. When looking at respondents' concerns, 49% named inflation and 41% named economy and jobs among the greatest challenges facing the U.S. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer when it's caught late. Schedule your mammogram, know your body, and don't ignore the signs. Early detection saves lives.
Your health, our community, we're WVON.
Hi, I'm Lori Smith, host of Meeting the Moment. WVON, in partnership with the Chicago Community Trust, developed Meeting the Moment to amplify the voices of nonprofits across Chicagoland, giving them the communication tools they need to expand their reach and turn awareness into action. Right now, our communities are facing real challenges, from economic uncertainty to public safety to access and equity. But in the middle of it all, there are organizations doing the work quietly, faithfully, powerfully. With Meeting the Moment, we'll have honest conversations about the issues shaping our region and, more importantly, the solutions happening on the ground. And each week, we'll feature a Chicagoland nonprofit making a difference. You'll hear their story and find out how you can support their work, because Meeting the Moment is about more than just awareness. It's about impact. Join the Meeting the Moment movement, a program designed for the doers. For more information, visit WVON.com/Meeting the Moment. Listen every Saturday at 12 noon, right here on WVON 1690, The Talk of Chicago. Let's meet the moment together. Powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
How many hours did you waste in traffic last year? Take control of your commute on Metra. Spend your time relaxing and let us handle the driving. Plus, our 95% on-time rate means we get you there fast. Metra, drive less, do more.
Video gambling terminals aren't owned by us. They're owned by out-of-state corporations that have never invested in our neighborhoods or our families. They take the money, we take the hit. These machines kill union jobs and drain pension funds for first responders. When these machines move in, crime goes up, break-ins rise. Our community pays the price. We deserve good union jobs, safer streets, and real investments that stay here and build something lasting. Tell City Council, repeal video gambling terminals. Paid for by Neighborhoods Safety First Association.
Tune in every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for Speak On It with Dr. Kofi Malik. You've seen him on cable TV. Now hear his spirited conversation on The Talk of Chicago. The question at hand is raising voices of the Negro. That plain and simple. Tune in every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for Speak On It with Dr. Kofi Malik on The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
The Chicago Blues Festival is more than a festival. It's a celebration of culture, rhythm, and legacy. We'll see you in Millennium Park June 4th through the 7th. We're WVON.
I'll play the blues for you.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Manifest with every lesson learned.
All right, we're back.
It would be well earned.
We're back. 591-1690 is number to call. Sorry, y'all. I just spilled my coffee all over the place. Right as we're coming on air, I have made a big mess here in the Matt McGill household and messed up some of my prize pictures. Family pictures here. Oh, boy. Oh, well, anyway, big props to our sister there. I hope you guys in these last two segments with Attorney Corbett and our sister Camper there, state rep, I hope you understand the moment that we're in. When we keep talking about we're living in a live moment, y'all. We're living in a live moment. We're not playing around. This is real. If we sleep at the wheel, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? We're going to lose everything that our ancestors fought for. And we're going to be looked up here and we're going to be embarrassed. Embarrassed. And our children and grandchildren are going to be wondering, what the hell were we doing sleeping at the wheel? All right. Now, it looks like I got some phone calls. Let's see if we can grab a call or two here. 591-1690. Let's go to Susan. Susan, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, Matt, thanks. So before I give you my comment, why don't you put it on a timer? Put yourself on a timer for the Facebook Live so that you could cut off the song right before the time ends, and then you don't have to keep going through all that drama.
Yeah, but no, here's the bottom line. We shouldn't have to go through that drama, right? I mean, sometimes the songs are part of the experience. Like for me, I like to play old school music and get people in the mood. I like more upbeat, fast music because it's a daytime show. But here's the point. What we are doing is advertising music that hasn't been played on radio in years.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, the music is good.
And what that is doing is triggering to people that are listening. Oh, damn, I forgot about that song. Let me go on iTunes and buy that right quick. If I'm giving you free advertising, I guarantee you the end result of me playing bumper music longer than I'm supposed to be is somebody out there thinking about, I'm going to buy that song. All right. Whether I play the bumper music or not, you guys are going to listen to WVON. You guys aren't tuning in for the bumper music. Y'all tuning in for content. Black talk. That's what this is. If you wanted music, there's plenty of radio stations for music. Mm-hmm. Right? So our profit is not, but go ahead and make your point because I got to clean up this little stuff real quick.
Oh, okay. All right. And you can also try Instagram Live too. That's another option. But my real comment, and I was trying to get in, but it was only 3 minutes before his segment ended. He was talking about getting passports. And this is especially relevant to people that are down south because they're the ones that are going to need it. You can get a passport card. A passport card is still federal. It still goes to the same department. It's only $30 or $35 because I've been looking into my own passport because I need to travel. And all told, it's $180 for a full-blown passport. So for those that are on a budget or just don't have the money, getting a passport card which is similar to a driver's license because it's laminated and you can carry it around with you. It'll save you that money because you also have to make sure that when you send your birth certificate up, it has to have the seal on it. I've been working my whole entire life with my birth certificate without a seal until I went to go get my passport, and they were like, no go. And I was like, what? This got me in kindergarten and college and jobs, and they're like, it's not official because it doesn't have a seal. So that's something else you got to make sure.
That's how it was back in the day, right? You had to have that birth certificate that had that stamp on it. It had, right.
See, I had a stamp with ink, but they want a seal where they have that circular handheld thing that they actually crimp.
What do you call when you go to a person that does that? They're a notary, like a notary.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. So, but mine had the stamp. It was remember that old mimeograph, the Xerox, the purple Xerox ink? Yeah, it was just a stamp.
You mean you got to college with a bootleg birth certificate, Susan? Is that what you're telling me?
University of Illinois, brother.
Wait, you know that dude. Hey, what's that movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in? Catch Me If You Can. And it was about this white guy who forged all these documents. That's what you did, girl.
Yeah, he was a doctor, then he was a pilot, and he actually was good at everything he did. That's the thing, that was a trip.
It makes me realize how boring my life is, man. I should be out here trying to have a more exciting existence. I'm gonna pretend like I'm a pilot. What the hell? There's a lady out here that they've arrested. They've arrested her like a dozen times. This old white lady for sneaking on to planes. This woman will hang out at an airport like O'Hare. They've arrested her at O'Hare a couple of times. And she has figured out how to get past security, how to get to a gate and get on planes without a ticket. I'm like, damn, my life is boring. Only thing I can sneak into is like press conferences, where the politicians are and stuff like that. I need to be doing something more exciting. I'm an underachiever here. Good call, Susan.
Thanks, Matt.
Let's go to Brother King Israel. What's up, King Israel?
Matt, can you hear me?
What's that?
Oh, no, I'm just calling in. First of all, I want to send my condolences to our brother, your in-laws, and my family childhood friends. So he's lost his mother, I heard.
Yes, he did, and I did want to and will pay tribute to Mama Celeste, as we affectionately know her.
Hallelujah.
Celeste Taylor, Alderman Sawyer's mother, passed away on Sunday, guys. And she was the mother of Shedrick. She was the mother of Alderman Sawyer, Alderman Rod Sawyer, and the mother of Cheryl Sawyer. And Cheryl is my sister-in-law. Cheryl Sawyer is married to my brother, and our families came together some 30 years ago. Actually, our families have been together just about forever, because I've known Rod since I was about 5 years old, and his family has always just been an amazing force to anybody who has known them. They've just been amazing people. And Mama Celeste passed away on Sunday, and she was just just an amazing woman herself. And I can't wait to, I'm going to do it later on this week, maybe tomorrow. I'll do a real tribute to her in her life. And I was there in the hospital when she passed away, man. It was such an reassuring moment. But yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that, Brother King Israel.
Come on, man. And my family, too. I ain't know Sawyer since 5. I think we might have called into him when he was 10. My cousin Dickie now. Stevie Davis, rest. I ain't got a name drop no more. But let's get to the business, man. It's politics. Man, I listen to VON religiously. I think I broke the knob off. Now, I be hearing you telling people politics ain't going to help black people. Is that correct? Or you say, no, we got to help ourselves?
Well, politics is here to help. It's not what you hear me say is politics is not going to heal black people.
Okay. So why are we concerned about them dealing with our rights and all that in the South? Because I've been to Memphis, I've been down south. It seems like politics ain't helping them people. Birmingham, Alabama. I mean, it ain't look like it ain't even helping us here. So I'm just saying, I'm being serious and sarcastic. But I'm saying,
King Israel, my question to you would be then.
Yes,
hold on.
sir.
Let me just ask the question real quick, brother. You and I can talk.
I'm
Let me ask
listening.
the question.
Yes, sir. I said, yes, sir.
Here's the question. If politics doesn't help people, then why are these white Republican MAGA people trying to take away our right to vote? Because they know that it helps. They know they would, if Brother Israel, if politics did not help black people, then these white folks wouldn't be worried about your Voting Rights Act or trying to change Article 2 of the Voting Rights Act, Article 5. They wouldn't be trying to remap voting districts and take away black representation. They wouldn't be trying to Save America Act to make you have to go and get a passport and all that to vote.
It seems like that's what you saying, my beautiful black brother, to certain people when they call in. Oh, black people need help themselves. Politics don't help. I'm saying politics help. That's why I'm trying to disturb the democratic process, because it's like they not sharing the wealth. I'm not Democrat or Republican. I know that people don't like hearing that, but I can't support the Democratic Party if they not supporting my people in Inglewood and all these places that I see look like just like it was when I went to Robeson in 1985. Only thing changed is new
King
school.
Israel. I hear you, but I think we've got to be very, very careful with that kind of dialogue, brother. I hear you. I mean, even Attorney Corbett said that in the last segment, right? You know, we just got to be very, very careful with that kind of conversation because the stakes are high. I got a break here though, because I'm over. I wasn't looking at him trying to clean up this damn mess I made over here at home.
I'm just trying to see
I love you, brother. Let's take a break here, and I'm gonna get these other phone calls when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Hey, baby. I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
It's clear that kidney disease is taking its toll on us by the number of dialysis centers in our neighborhoods. If you have kidney disease, know your treatment options and the benefits of home dialysis and transplantation. Visit blackcare.com. That's BLACKKARE.com. This health and wellness message is brought to you by the South Suburban Chicago chapter of the Links Incorporated and powered by Vantive. Consider giving the gift of life by becoming a donor today.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, inviting you to join me weekdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on WVON. I am bringing you a national perspective on all the happenings in the Black community and, of course, politics. It's talk radio for us, by us, and this is where America listens.
It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back at 591-1690. Mike Fideli coming up here at 2:30, guys. But let me try to get through some of these phone calls. As soon as I sat down in the last segment, my doggone coffee mug spilled. and went all over. I'm drinking this mushroom coffee, which is thick, a little thicker than normal, and went over some important pictures to me that I have on this desk. And so that's why I was in a little bit of a tizzy in that last segment, but I was able to clean it up. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. And Johnny, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind? Johnny going once. Johnny going twice. Let's go to Hote. Hote. H-O-T-E. I don't know who that is.
No, P-E. Hope. Good afternoon, Matt. I was hoping that your guest would elaborate a little bit about the voting percentages of blacks down in that area of Memphis, Tennessee, whether or not they're faced with the same situation as we are faced with here in Chicago, where, if you will, a large majority of the voters who are registered don't come out to vote, or even a large percentage of the black population does not come out to vote. It's interesting that we're at this point where maybe we're repeating history because we did not realize, or we lost focus of how important voting is. Let's remember that Daley did take the civics out of public education, and that seems to be a big issue still. When you talk to young people and talk to them about the importance of voting, they seem to say that it's not going to do anything for them. But now that it's affected, if you will, food stamps and other things, maybe now they feel different. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, I mean, that's a good call, brother. And let me respond to that. But first, everybody on Facebook Live right now, do me a favor and share the show. We are trying to figure out whether or not our voices are being muted online, because every time we look up, we're seeing like 5 shares or 6 shares. And I know we are getting more shares than that. So Z, can you share for me right now? Kim, I know you do. Rudy, can you share for me? Michael Ryan, can you share for me? We've gone from getting like 20 plus shares to like 5 single digits, all the shows. And so we're trying to figure out what's going on with this algorithm. And see, look, nothing would surprise me, brothers and sisters. When you talk as hard as we do about Black Power, nothing would surprise me out here. Fred Johnson, can you hit that share button for me? Brother Wall, can you hit that share button for me? Brian Black, Tiffany Willis, Brother Salim, of course, always does. Peggy Johnson, Marshall. Oh, you guys hit a share for me, man. I want to run an experiment right now just to see what happens at the end of this show, how many shares we have. Let me say this, man. Look, if you take away, some of the social safety net comforts that we've provided in this country, if people don't come out and vote, I don't have a problem with that. Should whether or not you get a link card be determined on whether or not you voted? I wouldn't have a problem with that. That's just me personally. Now, I know a lot of people will hem and haw about that. People complain about that. Why? Well, hey, man, we are at that moment, brother. See, the reason why nothing like that will happen is because they don't want black people to vote. See, when I tell you that we've been predictable, y'all. White America feels they know us, that we're not going to, that Brother Corbett, hope you just tuned in, but Brother Corbett went over voting percentages. He said we have 35 million eligible black voters in America. He said 25 million of us are registered to vote. Of the 25, 15 million, around 15 million came out and voted. So, dude, we went from 35 to 15. And then when you look at the states that Kamala Harris lost and what the voting totals were, the difference between Trump's numbers and Harris's numbers, 15 million plus that didn't come out and vote, actually the 20 million that didn't come out and vote, more than cover that. That's the election. Black people, Wrap your head around this thought. Black people controlled the vote in 2024. And we didn't come out and vote Donald Trump. Now, look, before all you sensitive ass black people, how you blaming black? I ain't blaming black people. I'm just saying vote. Get out and vote, damn it. People got their heads busted so that we can vote. And we got Negroes sitting around the crib just doing nothing and not coming out and vote. Just vote. Nobody blaming nobody. It's not your fault that Donald Trump's president, but vote, damn it. Let's see. Johnny, are you there? Johnny? Johnny's not there. James, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, young blood.
All right.
Real quick, as for voting, I vote. I don't miss no election. But I do realize the Electoral College picks the president, always has, always will. I don't care how you vote. It's a bunch of white folks sitting somewhere, racist, choosing who gonna pick the president. Now listen, people. Boss blew up the World Trade Center in New York. He blew up a third building right by the World Trade Center. This media, this powerful media, didn't say a word about the third building. The politicians didn't mention the third building. The fire department didn't mention. The Blue Klux Klan didn't mention it. Look what we're dealing with. We're being set up. We are being taken back. If you can get out of here ahead of time where you don't have to hit them woods, then do that. But when the deal go down and you have to hit them woods, try to make it to Canada. Once you get there, turn yourself in right away and ask for political asylum. And whenever they move on them, if it's daylight, you must find a good place to hide in the woods. Do not move in the daytime. They're going to have drones and snipers. You must try to get up to Canada at night and turn yourself in right away and ask for political asylum. Game for us is over.
All right, brother James. All right, way to end this segment, my brother. It's 2:30 when we return, our weekly segment with Mike Fideli and Associates. But first, Logan has WVON News.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's happening in your local and national news. Chicago Public Schools is facing a projected $732 million budget deficit. According to CPS CEO Macklin King, during a budget briefing, King said all options are being considered to address the financial crisis. She says the district will continue to prioritize resources closest to students while looking for savings in areas such as central office operations. King did not say how many jobs could be cut or whether schools would face reduced budgets. CPS enrollment has dropped by 45,000 students over the past 7 years. The school board must approve a balanced budget by August 29th. In other news, former candidate for Chicago Mayor Paul Vallis will have to pay a huge fine. The Chicago Board of Ethics say the ex-CPS CEO violated campaign finance rules. They say Vallis accepted $202,000 in contributions from 12 people who were doing business with the city. City law limits contributors from giving more than $1,500 annually. Vallis, who has been fined $214,000, plans to appeal the decision. And former NBA player Jason Collins has died at age 47 after battling brain cancer. More from Mark Mayfield.
Collins' family announced on Tuesday that he died peacefully.
And Vice President J.D. Vance says the Trump administration will cut off funding to states that failed to address fraud in public programs. He announced a $1.3 billion deferral in Medicaid reimbursements from California as part of the effort. The crackdown targets state-run social service programs, with Vance saying some states are not taking fraud seriously. He called it a violation of taxpayer trust and said enforcement will continue. And former NBA player Jason Collins has died at age 47 after battling brain cancer. More from Mark Mayfield.
Collins' family announced on Tuesday that he died peacefully at home surrounded by relatives after recently suffering a recurrence of stage 4 glioblastoma. Collins became the first openly gay athlete to play in one of America's 4 major professional sports leagues after coming out in a 2013 Sports Illustrated story. The former center retired in 2014. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
It's D.L. Hughley.
Nick Cannon's logic is as weak as his program. Everybody fucking knew that Republicans freed the slaves. Everybody knew it. The last time they did something for black people was 163 years ago. You got to update your resume. Have a 5-year gap on your resume and see if it's valid. When Republicans did that, Hawaii wasn't a state. If you're going to talk about the greatest of a policy that helped black people out, it should at least be sometime after the fucking moon landing.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey, Chicago, it's Matt McGill. We had so much fun last year. We're heading back to the Chicago Blues Festival as their official radio partner June 5th through the 7th in Millennium Park. But guess what? On Thursday, June 4th, we're going to kick things off. That's me and my buddy Sir Henry Cheatham. We're going to the iconic Ramova Theater, 3618 South Halsted, and we're bringing on stage one of Chicago's favorites, the one, the only, Willie Clayton.
Sleeping in my bed one time.
And Chicago's own, the legendary John Primer.
Well, I'm rolling and tumbling, talking all out of my head.
You want to join us? Then reserve your free seats now at RemovaChicago.com. That's RemovaChicago.com. Then keep it right here to WVON for your chance to win VIP tickets to the Remova and to hear more about this year's lineup. I'll see you there Thursday, June 4th at the Remova Theater to kick off the 2026 Chicago Blues Festival, brought to you by Mayor Brandon Johnson and DCASE, the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events.
When your body needs real nourishment, don't settle for ordinary supplements. At the Aloe Shop, we believe wellness starts with nature. That's why our premium aloe and nutritional products are crafted with the highest standards, pure, potent, and made to support your health from the inside out. From digestion and energy to immune support, the Aloe Shop helps you feel your best every day. The Aloe Shop at 117 East 95th Street in Chicago. Call 866-256-3747 or reach us online at thealoeshop.com. Come on in and get healthy. Now available at Living Fresh Market in Forest Park and at Pete's Market throughout Chicagoland.
Today at 3 p.m., don't miss a special edition of The Afternoon Show with Atiba and me, LaDonna Ray. We're joined by the legendary Stephanie Mills, the Grammy Award-winning icon behind timeless hits like Never Knew Love Like This Before, Home, and I Feel Good All Over. Will be with us live. Tune in at 3 p.m. today on WVON 1690 AM, streaming on iHeartRadio, and be sure to share it on Facebook Live. Only on the Talk of Chicago, WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church, tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. It's time for the 2:30 Focus with Mike Fideli, powered by Fideli and Associates.
All right, guys, welcome back on this Wednesday. It's time for our 2:30 Focus on the Matt McGill Show with Mike Fideli, our brother. 708-991-2440 gets you in. That's your appointment number, so you can take care of all your accounting needs. Of course, most of the time we're talking about taxes, and then the other part of the time we're talking about business, how to get your business and your personal life and things like that together, right? It's important. Some stuff you can use an attorney on, some stuff you need an accountant on, some stuff you go to an attorney about, and the attorney is going to call his accountant to get the answer or refer you to an accountant, right? As we have seen that happen before, right? Everybody stays in their lane. Sometimes these lanes overlap, right? But at the end of the day, what we want to do here at WVON is line you up with the right professionals who can help you out and make sure that you are taking advantage of all the resources that we have access to, and we want to make sure you have access to them as well. Mike Fideli, what's going on this wonderful May Day here, May 13th, in the middle of the month here? Our days are longer. The sun is setting after 8 o'clock. Everybody's feeling good about the prospect of summer coming up and all of that good stuff, man. And what should we be thinking about when it comes to personal responsibility and our taxes and our accounting overall?
Yeah, well, one thing I am waiting for this weekend, the weather's supposed to be in the 80s, so that'll be good. Yeah. But I would just, first of all, there's a number of things I want to say because I've been dealing with some things with clients that are really give you some sauce for the listeners of WVON. First of all, if you have any notices, if you get any notices, don't ignore them. Because at some point, even a basic notice, a balance due notice is going to turn into a levy notice. And I just highly advise you to deal with it while, it's easier to deal with. All of these notices have like a crescendo to them, meaning they start off, basic, and then they get more, I could say, desperate to the point where you're going to get a levy notice that says, basically, we intend to levy your assets. And that's the CP 504. That's the form number, the letter number. And then you only have 30 days to either put you on CNC status or offer in compromise, or we can do a collection due process request just to block it. But at that point, your options get more and more limited. And then, of course, the state gets involved. They don't have any mercy for people, the state of Illinois. They'll just go ahead and levy you, and then they'll send the levy notice. They're very notorious for doing that. So the first thing I'd like to say is this is a good time for all of the listeners of WVON. If you have any letters you're getting, don't sit on them. Give us a call or come in the office or email them. My office number is 708-991-2440. We'll give you the email address. It's documents@fideliassociates.com. Send it over to us. I could take a quick look at these letters usually and tell you if it's a desperate letter or if it's just a regular normal letter. But I really highly advise you to do that. And let's take care of all of our tax problems this year. Let's not let them linger on, and on to the point where they get really difficult to solve. And now you're in a levy you can't get out of. You're in a payroll levy that's difficult to get out of. We can pull a lot of magic here. I know how to get people out of a lot of problems, but you don't want to get to that point. You want to solve this as early as possible.
What's the number one problem people get caught up in?
Not paying, which then turns into a levy. And then that levy is your W-2 wage earner turns into a payroll levy. And the payroll levy is a lot worse than a payment plan. So once you're on a payroll levy, it's very hard to get off you that payroll levy. So let's say, for example, you owe $30,000. And you only makes, I won't say only, but 60. Let's say you make 60. The IRS is going to take double or triple out of your payroll than what we could do on a payment plan. And once you're on the payroll levy, it's harder to get out of it. We have to file all unfiled tax returns. We have to file a 433A. We have to supply bank statements, which we don't want to do. We don't want to supply bank statements to the IRS of your bank, right? So we want to avoid that. It's really not paying. That is the biggest problem when people file a return, not paying. The second biggest problem is unfiled returns, which leads to my second point. If you have unfiled tax returns, I highly advise you, let's get them all done this year, especially this summer. And we can pull your transcripts for all past years, even if they're business returns, personal returns.
Hey, that's me, Mike.
What's that?
I said, that's me. I'll be coming in the office this summer.
Yeah, and let's get it done. And by the way, you're looking, if you owe, it's a 25% late filing, 25% late payment penalty maximum. If it's just a couple of years old, we can knock that the late payment penalty in half to about 12%. And then you got interest on top of that at 7.5% right now. So these penalties and interest add up. If we can get you, at not owing, there'll be no penalties. Not even a late filing penalty. But, that's where we come in. So I really highly advise people, and you'd be surprised. A lot of people come in here. Even me, I'm surprised that they have 6, 8 years, sometimes 10 years of unfiled returns. And sometimes, people are, let's say, like getting married, or they're turning over a new leaf in life. I've had clients that came in and said, you know what, I was an addict. I was on drugs, or I was an alcoholic, or what have you. Various different addictions, and they clean themselves up, and the next thing they want to take care of is their taxes.
Yeah, because you can't like operate with like this cloud over your head, right? You wanna get that taken care of. You like I said, all the time, every week, every Wednesday when we do this segment, look, people want to sleep at night. Take that burden off your shoulders of worrying about your taxes, or worrying about, even if you're a business owner. And taxes is one thing. Another thing is, man, am I paying attention to my payroll? Am I, just if you're a business owner, there's so many things for you to be worrying about. Even if you're not a business owner, man, they're just things that you want to make sure. Your bank accounts, am I thinking this out correctly, right? Money, finance, taxes, investments, all of these areas, unless you're an expert. If you're not an expert, then you're going to be concerned about, am I doing the right thing? Am I leaving any money on the table? Am I losing money? I losing money? Is money coming out of am I being charged stuff that I don't even realize I'm being charged? What should I be looking at? When you build a relationship with somebody who's an expert in that area, then you get all kind of like little extra pro tips just casually. Sometimes, you got an accountant. Sometimes he's going to say, hey, what's going on? Boom, boom, boom. What else is going on in your life? You might say something, and then he or she will say to you, hey, well, if you're going to do that, make sure you're paying attention to this. And that just comes with relationship building. That's why I always tell people, have a lawyer, have an accountant, right? Have people that are a financial advisor, whatever it is, in these lanes that you're not an expert in, so that you can, relax and not have that burden and that responsibility hovering over your head. Do I owe? Am I going to get, a levy? Is this going to happen to me? Mike, people are getting, these kind of thefts that happen when people get their the title of their house gets taken out from under them, right? It's just little things that people may not think about.
The IRS does it. It's called a lien, an encumbrance. Yeah, and then you can't do anything with your house.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can't do anything with it.
Now I'm talking about, Mike. They got what I'm talking about. There are people out here that somehow they manage to take your house from you. They will try to take the title from your house. It's something, man. I'll look it up, because it has happened. Former Treasurer Stephanie Neely was telling me how it happened to her, and she's one of the most educated people I know. This title fraud business that's going on out there, man. But like you saying, with the lien, IRS can put a lien on your property. You can't get any improvements done on it. You can't get any work done. You can't take a home equity line out on it and get work done on it. These are things that impact the quality of your life. The phone call that we're talking about that you should be making at 708-991-2440 is an easy phone call. Look, Mike's willing to take some phone calls right now. You can call into the station at 591-1690 and ask a question or two. I mean, he's not going to give you the full session right here on WVON, but he doesn't mind answering a few questions. But the reality is, make an appointment, go out there. It's like going to a doctor. Just be honest with me. Be honest. Let it all out, brother. What have you done this? Have you done that? Help me help you.
Yeah, well, we do a full checkup here. But let me tell you something real quick that happened this week from a new client through WVON, thankfully. Really thankful that this client came in because she literally, this does happen. She came in, we did a power of attorney on her. Why do we do that? So that we can access all the transcripts. A lot of accountants don't do that. Like right there, let's stop right there a second. A lot of accountants don't access your transcripts. It's an extra step and it requires work. Unfortunately, in my profession, there's a lot of lazy people or people that don't know what to do, but mostly it's laziness. So we do a power of attorney. We say wait 2 weeks and we can pull all your IRS transcripts. And in the meantime, open up an IRS.gov account and a MyTaxIllinois account. And then we'll be able to access your federal, and we'll do a POA, a power of attorney on the state as well. She had years 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 that she owed. Okay. However, because we know how to read the transcripts, one of my tax managers here at UBing, he was able to identify that the debt for 2015 looks like it's going to be written off under what we know is a 10-year statute. I've talked about that. After 10 years from the date of filing, assuming that there's no other statute extension issues, which there could be, like filing an offer in compromise to extend the statute, for example, after 10 years, the IRS under statute has to write your debt off. Well, it shows on the transcript when that date is, and it's this August, $11,000. And that bites into her debt by around a third, which is a lot of money, which is a nice number. So now what do we have to do? We have to figure out a strategy so that could be written off because she just got a levy notice. She got an intent to levy. That intent to levy notice is coming out because the AI computers that the IRS has and the algorithms know that debt is going to be written off in August, and they send out those levy letters. Don't kid yourself. That's how it's done. The IRS doesn't want to miss that money. She's a W-2 wage earner.
Sure.
So what I was able to do was, because of her, not just her wages, but her expenses, I was able to call the IRS. I just did that today, by the way, just did it today. And I've been on the phone for 3.5, 4 hours today already with the IRS. And let me say this as an aside. If there's anybody out here that has a tax accountant, and I'm not saying it has to be us, I'd love it to be us, a tax accountant or a tax strategist, and they don't get on the phone for you, get another tax accountant. Because there are certain things that cannot be solved without getting on the phone with the IRS. I am on the phone with the IRS all the time, including CNC status, which is currently not collectible. I was on the phone for almost 2 hours with the IRS, going through her financials. It's a financial statement that has to be prepared, a 433-F. We go through line by line with collection agent, IRS. And at the end of that, she qualified because of, my expertise and also the condition that she was in, financial condition. We're able to get her on CNC status to block the levy for 1 year. The CNC status will last for 1 year, and that debt in August for 2015 will be written off.
All right, look, I think we got a phone call.
Yeah.
I think we might have a phone call for you, Mike. Let's check with Melissa. Melissa, welcome to WVON. Do you have a question for Mike Fideli?
I have two questions. If you can prepare my taxes and you're a WVON client, is there a discount? And then I have another question.
Sometimes, especially if you give a referral, sometimes. Okay. And we do give a discount to veterans.
Okay. Because actually you did prepare my taxes, but that was my question. And then the other thing, how far back can you go back to correct taxes? Say if it was last year, I think for 2023 is something I owed, but I realized on how I had my taxes prepared to this time, I didn't add the income property, and I didn't add my daughter's college. So, like, are you able to go back and, look at that again or something like that?
Yeah, when you go back to 2022 right now, you have a 3-year window to amend the tax return.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And
so
2020. Oh, go ahead. You can go ahead.
No, you finish. I was gonna say, so I call the office and ask them to just look at it, or
we'll do that. And you know what? We'll do that for you. Just because you were asking about the discount, I'll look at your stuff free of charge. How's that?
Okay, then I'll call back today because I just had to prepare. The other day, the lady sent it to me via DocuSign.
Right. If you have 2023 and 2024 clearly, and 2025 can clearly be amended. Okay. However, 2022 can be amended if you have an extension through October, because if you didn't, the time has passed for you to amend, because that would have been due April 15th of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Then
2022, but 2023 and 2024 clearly can be amended. Okay.
Thank you so very much.
There you go. Good call. Let's try brother Trent. Trent, welcome to WVON. You got a question for Mike Fideli?
Yes, I have a question. Two things. I received a letter since Mike was speaking about letters. I received a letter saying that I need to file my 2024 taxes, which I believe I'm getting money back. So I'm not sure why they sent that, because they used to didn't send that in the past. And also, the IRS 1 year put some type of fraud number on my account. So every time I file, I have to have this number. I didn't authorize any type of fraud or indicated there was any type of fraud when filing. So how do I get that off? Because it seems like it's impossible to get that off, that number.
Is it a fraud number or is it a PIN? They're asking for a PIN.
Well, it's a PIN because due to fraud.
Yeah, so you can't. It doesn't mean that you have fraud. It doesn't mean that you have fraud. But the IRS flags certain returns, and they will send you a PIN in the mail. So it doesn't mean you had fraud. It just means the IRS, however they determine this, and I'm not even clear, they will send taxpayers a PIN, and they'll say you have to use this PIN and put it on your return in order for you to file. And if you don't, it'll get rejected. So, yeah. And the other question, what was the other question? Sorry, sir.
You were speaking about notices, and I received a notice that I needed to file my 2024 taxes.
Yeah, so everybody's getting this notice now.
I'll give a response. Mm-hmm.
Right, everybody's getting this 2024 notice. They've never done that in the past. So it doesn't mean that they've identified that you're going to owe or you're going to get a refund. Just anybody that didn't file on time last year, which would have been by October 15th of 2025, their 2024 return has not been filed. I mean, it seems like the whole country's getting this notice. It just says you need to file your 2024 tax return, right? Something like that. Just says file your 2024.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically like that.
Yeah, it's a basic letter that like everybody's getting. So I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, go ahead and file your 2024.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a refund, so I'm thanking them for the reminder. So.
Yeah, if you're getting a refund, there's no penalty involved at all. No late filing, no late payment penalties. So you'll be good.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hey, brother Trent, take down the number because you might need it one day, right? And just make the call so you can get in there and just get all of this information that you're hearing on the show. You can get all of that information, man, and have Mike as your accountant, and you might be embarking on some other endeavors in life that you may need some advice on from an accounting standpoint, and you'll have the number 708-991-2440.
Okay, got it. I locked it in at the beginning of the show because I knew you were going to be on with them.
There you go.
Oh, I appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks.
Good call. Now I got Al, I'm pretty sure he's not talking taxes. Well, wrap it up for me, Mike. What else as we circle around the month of May, and people are, and those are a couple of good questions there, that people are asking, and that's just an example of the kind of answers you're going to get. There's nothing wrong. Sometimes people are embarrassed about their tax situation, and don't be, guys. Mike has seen everything, man. He has seen the worst possible situations you can imagine. And so don't be embarrassed. Be smart. Be smart in this situation.
We don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not here to, first of all, judge you or get a story about your life. Now, some people like to tell me the stories, but I'm not interested in really trying to adjudicate or, take a deep dive on why things happen. It's not my job. However, if you really do want to talk about it, and some people do, I'm happy to talk about it. But I agree with you, Matt. I just want to I have a job to do. 3 jobs. Get your taxes as low as possible. Keep you out of IRS problems and protect your assets.
There you go.
How you got there or how you didn't get there is not relevant to me. So that's what we do here. And we just want to help people.
And look, let me tell you, Mike Fideli has been with WVON for years, guys. And it's because of people like him and his business that support WVON. Mike's a client of ours. He pays us for this weekly segment. And so we need the Mike Fidelis and the Ted Londons of the world to keep this radio station going so it can continue its mission to serve the city of Chicago and Black America all over, people who listen to this station. And we just want to make sure you know that you have access to this information and you support us by supporting Fideli and Associates. When you make that call and you say, hey, Mike, I want you to be my accountant. I heard you on WVON. That is part of what keeps this radio station on the air. So we need you to support Mike. Mike supports us. You both support us, and we'll continue to give you this valuable information, which is an asset to all of us. So take that number down again, 708-991-2440, and give Mike a call and let his experience go to work for you and do the 3 things that he said is his mission. And we love him for that. Brother, thank you. We'll be back at it next Wednesday. Looking forward to it. Enjoy your time. And
Matt, thank you for those words, brother.
Let's talk soon, man. We got to go on a trip together sometime soon, brother.
Till then, my man.
All right.
Yeah.
My man, Mike Fideli. All right, that's all I got for you. Share the show, everybody. You guys have done it. I got 36 shares. I appreciate that. Al Stone, Rudy, Reggie, Rosetta. What's going on, my sister? Share the show, and I'll love you for it. Don't go anywhere. Tiba and LaDonna Ray are coming up next, guys.
Happy Wednesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Chicago City Council questions delay in shot spotter replacement. Cost of Iran war rises to $29 billion. Ye loses copyright infringement trial. And Americans oppose